we are in the outback of Western Australia looking for a creature you truly have to see to believe. The thorny devil is like a living sculpture, and some rumors say it is so sharp it can actually draw blood when you try to catch it. So if we're lucky enough, we're gonna put those rumors to the test. Let's get searching. They live exclusively on a diet of ants. Because of that need, if you find an ant mound or an ant line, there's a good chance there's a thorny devil somewhere in the vicinity, so we can then create a perimeter and start really scanning the area. These are masters of camouflage in this environment, so you really need to narrow it down to a sweet spot. So sharp. Ah. This is definitely thorny devil habitat. Everything out here is spiky. Especially this plant right here. This is like little razor blade leaves. Gonna keep an eye out for that one as we search for this creature. Here we go. This is a good indication. You see that line in the sand right there? That's an ant track. You can actually see a few tiny, tiny ants making their way back to their nest. But this is great, guys. We've got the sandy environment. We found the food. Now it's time to find the devil itself. What I'm looking for now are either foot tracks or the outline. It has a very distinct contrast with the rest of the environment, the outline of the tail and the horns on the front. And that's what I'm gonna be scanning for along the ridges and along the bush lines. Luckily, the thorny devil is not very fast. You can see why you have to be such a specialized animal to call this your home. Humans would not do very well living out here. Oh, I see one. Got one. We got a devil. Oh, yes, yes, we got one. Oh man, this is the coolest lizard on the planet, guys. Oh my gosh, I am so excited right now. I cannot believe we found a thorny devil. Look at how cool this little dragon is. This is one of the top targets out here. And unlike their cousins in America and Mexico, the horned lizards, these guys are actually super spiky. And you see it puffing up its body and pushing those spines out. That is one of its defense mechanisms. And I could tell you that if you were to grab onto this thorny devil without knowing that it was sharp, you would get a handful of spikes. Look at how cryptic the color patterning is. This animal is superior at camouflage in this environment, from the sand that's demonstrated in its arms to the foliage and the yellow leaf litter. This animal is perfectly designed for this habitat. And you can see that I'm not really doing much to keep the animal here with us. They're very docile and slow moving. In fact, they use their tail as a balance to step forward. They're almost like a chameleon, and they'll do very cautious steps. So look at that, just in a matter of minutes from presenting this animal, it's already changed its color to a much more vibrant yellow on the back. And that's probably because the sun is really starting to come out today. And like most lizards, it is ectothermic. The more heat it absorbs in its body, the more energy it's going to have. And it certainly has earned its name, the thorny devil. It is extraordinarily sharp and spiny. And it is covered from the tip of its tail all the way to its fingers and sharp spikes. Andrew, stick your finger out there. Tell me what that's like. Wow, it's like prickers. It's literally as sharp as the thorns on a rose. Just because it has these defense mechanisms doesn't mean that this lizard doesn't have any predators. There are animals out here that would make a meal out of a thorny devil, including species of hawks and, of course, the predatory goannas, the giant monitors that live in this country. So that's where this animal will rely on its superior camouflage to blend into its environment, to not give its location away. It also has another unique defense mechanism. You see those two horns right at the neck? That is a false head. And in a defense situation, the thorny devil will tuck in its head, offer up that false head to any would-be predator so it has a chance to escape if attacked. So let's see if we can actually get it to do that. Offering that false head up. That is a great display All right, let's pick it back up. Gosh, those spikes are sharp. Ah, oh, do you see him right there try to horn me? Ah, okay. Let's calm down. Let's calm down. I thought we had an agreement. We were gonna do this scene and I was gonna put you back, trying to show everybody how cool you are. There we go. If you ever wanna see one in person, you have to come here to one of its native ranges. Right now we are in Western Australia, but the range extends all the way to the center of the continent. But it lives in this specialized desert terrain, feeding on ants of a particular variety. Now, when I say feeding on ants, I should say feasting on ants. This little lizard has the ability to eat up to 3,000 ants a day. It will eat up to 1,000 ants in a single meal. And because of that, it actually is said that they are super intelligent. They have the ability to track through their environment to locate different colonies of ants, and they make sure that they don't overpredate any specific colony. They want to be able to come back to the food line to get another meal when they need it. These animals all have a very unique color pattern. You see underneath there? The patterning on the belly is like an individualized fingerprint for these lizards. So scientists will actually take photographs of the underside of a thorny devil so they can study the populations in any given area. And this one is super cool. It's very reticulated, almost like tiger stripes. Ah, so sharp. Ah, hang on. Ah, in addition to being super spiky, it has another very unique mechanism that is developed for life out here in the desert, and that's the ability to drink using its feet. Now, I've heard that if you actually pour water out and place a thorny devil in a small puddle, you can witness this happening. So we are going to try to demonstrate that for you right now. I've got a little water here. All right, let's see. Look at that. See all that moisture? Definitely have water coming up the back. I can see it on the neck. It's probably hydrating its eyes. And if we stay here long enough, it would actually be able to siphon some of that water into its mouth. But that is so cool. So those scales are adapted to be able to suck up moisture from the ground to keep this lizard hydrated. It's hard to believe, even holding it here in my hand, seeing it move, seeing it look at me, I'm almost in disbelief that this is even a real living thing. And for those of you who've been watching to see if the thorny devil is indeed sharp enough to draw blood, well, here you go. I mean, it is spiky. It's like holding the thorns of a rose. So I'm gonna do this delicately. Ready? Ah, you're spining me. It's wriggling around and it's so spiky, but I think the verdict is in. I do not think the thorny devil is sharp enough to draw blood, even though, he's spiky. Definitely does not feel good when it tenses up those spines. Ow. From its defense mechanisms and the spines and the false head to even the way that it drinks. How cool was it to come across the real dragon of the outback, the thorny devil. The stonefish is notorious for having the most painful sting in all of nature. And today, I'm going to get stung by a stonefish. But first, we've got to find one. Let's get looking. It's going to be very hard to find the stonefish because in addition to their legendary sting, they are masters of hiding. The key to this is going to be to move slow, methodically, and to not step on the stonefish. You could be looking right at a stonefish and not even realize it. That's why so many people step on them by accident. But stonefish aren't all we have to look out for. This isn't the only animal that could do you harm here in the tide pools off of Australia. We also have cone snails and the blue ring octopus, one of the most lethal creatures in the world. And not only is it risky just being out here, but we also have to beat the clock. The tide is coming in fast, and this whole area is about to be completely underwater. So if we want to catch a stonefish, we need to do that before it happens. Everything looks exactly the same. This is gonna be tough. Oh, right there. You see it moving? That is the stonefish. And I never would have seen that fish if it didn't give itself away by moving. Holy smokes. Now these fish are so toxic, they don't really have a flight response. I'm gonna attempt to catch the most toxic fish in the world with my bare hands. All right, here we go. Wow, there it is. That is the stonefish. Look at that tide pool monster. I can't believe we found one. I mean, it looks like a living rock. I never would have spotted this fish if it didn't move. The fact that it swam a little bit there is the only reason I was able to catch this fish. And you can see how docile this fish is. It knows just how toxic it can be. Wow. But the table is set for what will be likely the worst sting I ever take. Placing the stonefish in the tank hit my nerves hard. I'm about to get stung by a stonefish. Stonefish stings are said to be one of the most painful experiences a human can endure. And I've already experienced my fair share of fish stings. One from the most common fish sting, which is the lionfish. And the other from the scorpionfish, which is the most toxic fish sting in North America. Oh, yeah, he got me. Oh. Each sting was painful, but I was certainly able to tough it out with basic treatment. However, each of those fish fall far short of the danger from the stonefish. Not every day you get to carry around the world's most toxic fish in a tank. This fish might just have the worst sting in the entire animal kingdom. Man, my nerves are firing right now. Just looking at this fish is so incredibly cool. Look at all the growths all over its body. Definitely earns its name, the stonefish, a master of camouflage. All right, let's go hands-on once again with the stonefish. The reason I can handle this fish is because it can only sting from the spines on top. Wow. This fish has developed the most potent fish toxin in the world. The toxin is only to defend itself. Unfortunately, as you can see, it is so docile that it's very easy for people to step on these fish. And that is the most common way people are stung by the stonefish. The toxin of this fish not only induces extraordinary pain, it can actually cause muscle spasms and eventual paralysis. And there have even been reported deaths from stonefish stings. But now I think it's time to see how this fish injects its venom. I'm going to just pour out this water. Gonna use this little tank here as a platform. This fish is perfectly fine being out of the water for extended periods of time because they've adapted the ability to actually hold water in their gills. It's not uncommon to see stonefish just laying on the rocks in these tide pools. So in the little bit of time that we have it here in front of the cameras, totally fine. All right, so I brought with me a piece of neoprene. I'm going to use this piece of neoprene to simulate skin so I can show you what would happen if you stepped on the stonefish. This animal has the ability to fire its venom into the wound created by its spine. That's why people who are envenomated and step on these stonefish end up in such a bad situation. It's not only that it's the most toxic venom, it's that you also get the most volume. Look at how sharp that spine is. Okay, in order to do this properly, I do need to get out some eye protection, so I'm gonna do that quickly. This venom, it has enough toxin in it to cause vision problems and perhaps even blindness. All right, let's see in slow motion how these spines inject venom. I'm gonna do these top two, you guys ready? Here they go. 1, 2, 3. Oh, wow. Look at that. And it's like blue. Holy cow, look at how much venom just came out of that fish. And let's do another one, do it one more time. Oh my gosh, guys, the spines are blue. And once those spines are out, they stay out and they're ready to defend. All right, let me try these spines on the back here. 1, 2, 3. Wow, that is what would be inside of your foot if you were to step on a stonefish. Now, it will regenerate its venom. This doesn't hurt the fish at all. And you can see these sheaths will just slide right back up. But holy cow, I gotta take a minute and process what I just saw. Oh, that is bad. I won't lie, I'm getting pretty nervous right now. This is something you should never do. I've consulted experts, people who have been stung. I've done my research, I've done my homework, but even still, I am extremely nervous about what is about to happen. It's said that this is the most painful sting in the world. Wish me luck. The moment has come. It's time to be stung by the world's most toxic fish. I am borderline terrified. I've thought long and hard about whether or not to even go through with this, but I'm doing this today because through my research on the stonefish, I have found a lot of misinformation out there. There's a lot of stories that pretty much describe certain death if you're stung by a stonefish, and that's just simply not the case. While this toxin in the base of its spines is extremely potent, it is thermolyable. So if treated properly and if needed with medical attention, you will survive the sting of a stonefish. Most of the victims that end up dying from stonefish stings, but has more to do with the pain and shock that leads to cardiac arrest. This venom is meant to cause you pain, but I have brought the antidote with me today. A thermos filled with hot water that's around 114 degrees Fahrenheit, a compress to hold over the wound, and then of course, if I do go into any state of anaphylactic shock, I always carry with me an EpiPen. We are about 3 minutes drive from an emergency room, so even if the worst case scenario does unfold today, I should have plenty of time to be able to get to emergency medical attention. All right, my plan today is to take a microdose of stonefish venom. The venom from that neoprene trial is already coating the spikes, so they are locked and loaded, ready to go. When it's all said and done, this should be just extraordinarily painful for me and hopefully very educational for you. This is going to likely be the worst sting that I ever take. I'm Mark Vins, and I'm about to enter the sting zone with the stonefish, the most toxic fish in the world. All right, I'm gonna go with this front spine here. Ready? This spine. On 3. 1, 2, 3. Yep. I already feel a burn. I can feel it spreading up my finger right now. And it does not feel good. Wow, the tide is coming in. All right, here, let's, hang on. Let's move out of here, the tide's rolling in.
You okay, Mark?
Yeah, hang on, I'm gonna come over here. Andrew, put the fish back in the tank, man. Oh, right there is where the spine went in. God, immediate fire, spreading up my fingers. I can already feel it in these 3.
Can you help, Mark? Are you okay?
No, I'm okay right now. It's like a different magnitude of pain. It is like throbby, achy. Hang on, I gotta walk it off. Yeah. I'm gonna try to tough it out for a little bit. I wanna see how far the venom spreads before I start applying the first aid. This is borderline unbearable. Oh my gosh.
Let me know when you need the water, Mark.
I'm just like, it's making me nervous. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it definitely drew a little bit of blood. Oh, and it is hot. It's like closing my hand is becoming hard. Yeah, it's spreading. It's like all up the back of my hand now. I think I need to go for the hot water, guys. I don't want this to spread anymore. I'm going to hot water. There we go. Stonefish is good. Now, I need to fix myself. So this hot water will actually stop the venom from working and should help my pain. Every bit as painful as advertised. I never want to do that again. And I need to get more hot water on this sting. And hopefully the pain subsides, but it's still increasing for me. Tingling pain continued to build and spread up through my shoulder all the way to my neck. Even a month after the sting, I still have numbness and tingles in my fingers. The immediate pain wasn't enough to send me to the hospital, but as we released the stonefish, I could imagine what would happen if a full load of its venom were to go in my foot. That instance would send you directly to the hospital. And if you're ever stung, please, you should seek medical attention as soon as possible. Needless to say, the stonefish certainly lives up to the legend of being the most painful fish on the planet. Look at that! This is a shingleback. Wow! What an amazingly cool lizard this is. Let me see if I can pick it up carefully. Oh, don't want to get bit. Don't want to get bit by this guy. Hang on. Look at that defensive display. Whoa, got a lunge. Oh, he is a feisty one. Oh, do you hear that? Hear that hiss? Got him. All right. Here, let's come on in close, guys. That is a really good look at their defensive display. I was hoping we would come across one of these lizards here in Western Australia, and there it is, our first reptile of the trip, the shingleback. The first thing you notice about this animal is that tongue sticking out, flaring its tongue out, saying, hey, I'm feisty and I will give you a tremendous bite if you get any closer. You can see the size of those mandibles, and it does have razor sharp teeth. Let's talk about its name. The shingleback gets its name because of its armored plating. Look at those scales. They are raised up and very thick, like an armored little tank. Here, Andrew, feel the back of that.
Whoa, he's super tough.
He's super tough. An extra tough lizard that utilizes its scales to ward off predators. Those armored scales would act like a plate, a barrier, to hopefully protect it long enough to scurry away. Now, some people would call this a shingleback, others would know it as a bobtail. It gets the name bobtail because of this little nubby tail on the back, which has a couple of purposes. The first purpose is it's a defense mechanism because it's a false head. So if there's a predator like a hawk or a snake that comes in and tries to eat this lizard, it might accidentally go for the wrong side because it looks a lot like its head. And that would be good for this lizard because it would give it a chance to get away. Now, another purpose for that bobtail is it's a fat store. Being out here in the desert, water is scarce and energy can be scarce. So certain times of the season, while this lizard can be hibernating, it relies on the fat stores in its tail to survive. Now, these lizards are a species of blue-tongue skink, and while their tongue isn't as bright as their cousin, the eastern blue tongue, I think their armored appearance makes them the coolest of these spunky Australian lizards. I want to be very clear, I do not want to take a bite from this lizard. It has very strong jaws because it is an omnivore. It feasts on a diet of snails and beetles, so it requires strong mandibles to crush those shells up. And I don't want you to crush my finger, right? Because we're gonna be friends, because I'm gonna help you out too before the end of this video. These lizards can be found while road cruising out here in the outback. They are often victims of car strikes because they like to stay on the road to get warmth. They are ectothermic, so we're gonna help you cross the road, buddy, don't worry. But we're also gonna help you out with something else. Now, one of the things that we can do is to remove some of its parasites. You see that right there? Let's get a tight shot. These reptiles are known to be covered in ticks. So anytime we encounter an animal with visible parasites like leeches, barnacles, or ticks, we always do our best to try to remove them if possible. In this case, removing these pesky bloodsuckers will cause no pain to the lizard and will certainly help its chances for survival in this harsh desert environment. This is a little bit risky right here. Getting my fingers super close to those jaws. Got him. Oh no. There's more. Ugh. Hang on, buddy. We'll help you out here. Guys, there are so many ticks on this lizard. That one was in its left ear, and the ticks do like to go for the softer part, so ears and in between the scales. I'm gonna try this one out. There we go. Yeah. Gotcha. There we go. And there is another tick. See? That's what friends do. We remove ticks from each other's ears. You would do the same for me, wouldn't you? Yeah. Now this is not a tick that would burrow into a human, but they can actually get about 20 times this size by engorging themselves with the blood of these reptiles. I've actually found a tick on another shingleback before that was the size of a grape. Ugh, disgusting, right? Ugh, we don't want ticks. I think I got the main ticks off of you. Oh no, you got another one deep in your ear. Got him. Got him. They are all stuffed in his ear. How did you get so many ticks inside your ear? Oh gosh, guys. There are so many ticks in this lizard's ear. Guys, you're gonna wanna get a shot of this, it's gross. Ugh, look at that. Dude, where have you been? All right, no more ticks. I think I got them all out of that ear. I'm sure that feels a lot better, huh, buddy? Now you can hear again. All right, the sun's coming back out. He's getting a little feisty. Let's see if we can get another look at that iconic defense display, that tongue splaying out to warn any predator off. All right, I'm gonna try to put him down carefully, not take a bite. Ready? You guys got your shot? 1, 2, 3. See that? See that defense display? Oh, whew. He is fast. Yeah. Hey, we're still friends, don't worry. Oh.
Looks angry.
Oh man, they are feisty when they want to be. Oh, not messing around, are you, buddy? Ah, too close. Gosh, he bit down hard. Oh, guys, look at that bite. We were trying to get the thumbnail, and I was using my hat to shade, and he's totally bit my hat. Oh my gosh, it is strong. I don't think it's gonna let go. You would not want to take a bite from this lizard. Holy smokes, it is just bulldog grip. Let's see if I can just put it down and it'll let go. Give me my hat. Who do you think you are, Jake Paul? Got my hat? Can I have my hat back, sir? Please? Are you kidding me? Thank you. Thank you for my hat back. Okay. Wow. You would not want to take a bite from this lizard. The creature is just as shy as it is sharp. So first we have to track one down in this huge forest, which also happens to be home to another one of the rarest and most endangered animals on the planet that we're also trying to find by the end of this video. But in order to catch this giant spike ball, we're going to need to look for clues. Oh yeah, right there, check that out. This is a termite nest. This will be a perfect feast for the creature that we're after today. That tells me we are on the right track. Let's keep searching. Our second clue is that these creatures love to hide near trees and stumps. So that's where we're spending the most time looking. The problem is, this forest is full of hiding places. This is like looking for a needle or a big pile of needles in a giant haystack. After hours of searching, we got lucky with the discovery of a final clue. That is a good sign right there. That's some poop from the creature we're after. You can see all the ants and termites in here. That means we're getting close. Oh, right there. That's an echidna. Look at that. Ho-ho! Yes! That is what we have been looking for all morning long. That is Australia's spikiest creature, the echidna. And it is, yeah, wow, that is sharp. Okay, the echidna from the top is a tank riddled with spikes and a super tough skin. But underneath the echidna is a soft belly. And I'm gonna try to work my hand underneath this animal so I can present it to you. This is probably going to be a challenge. Let's see if I get my hand underneath. Ready? Come here, buddy. It's okay. And he's just wriggling in there. Ah! Oh, he's spiky. Ah, he's getting me. Now, unlike a porcupine, their spines can't release, but they are super sharp nonetheless. Ow! Okay. Okay, he's really wedged in there, guys. This is gonna be tough. Ah! Yeah, I'm getting nailed. All right, I'm gonna have to use some gloves here. There's no way I'm gonna be able to pry out this echidna. It is basically puffing up its body, using its spikes to wedge itself into this stump of the tree. All right, you go. Luckily, I always carry a good pair of gloves with me on every adventure. There we go. I want to get to the underside of the echidna that is much softer, and that should allow me to hold it for the scene. But I'm gonna have to do this really carefully. I'm trying to like work under all of the different spines. There we go. Okay, now these spines are nothing more than modified hairs, so this isn't hurting the echidna at all. It's only hurting me. Ah! Oh, you're sharp. Ow! Poked right through the glove. Okay, I've got the underside. Got the underside, this is good. Okay, I think I feel his foot. Ow! Oh gosh, you were really, get spined so bad. Okay, all right, I'm underneath him. This is good. The underbelly is so much easier to contend with. All right, got him. I've got the echidna. We got one, guys. That is the echidna. Hello. All right, let's go this way. I see an opening over here, this will be perfect. So I think for the echidna to be most comfortable, it's gonna mean a little discomfort for me. I'm gonna attempt to take my gloves off to do this scene, not only in hopes that the echidna will be more comfortable and will show us that beak, but also as to show everyone why you should never pick up an echidna. Oh boy. Hello. This animal likes to hide by wedging against the nearest object. In this case, it's my foot. Gotta get to the soft belly part. Oh, you're so sharp. Come here. Every time I try to pick him up, his spikes break under the skin of my fingernails. Come on, Knuckles. Anybody who is a fan of the Sonic the Hedgehog video game definitely knows Knuckles the Echidna. And you are tough as nails, Knuckles. Yeah. Hey, buddy, I'm gonna put you on my knee, if that's okay. It's going through my pants. Knuckles! Oh my gosh, it's so sharp. Okay, hi. You are the spikiest creature I have ever held with my bare hands. Oh my goodness. Okay. This animal from the top side is almost bulletproof from any predator. Not only does it have these sharp spines, but the top hide is very tough. Now, on the underside of the echidna, there's very soft underbelly along with its face. Hopefully, this echidna will get comfortable enough with me today to show its little face because it is super adorable. I'm trying to make it as comfortable as I can. As discomforting as it is for me, I want to show you that adorable little beak, the face of the echidna. Come on, buddy. I'm just gonna hold it here and try to be silent. Oh my gosh. It's poking his nose at me. Come on, say hi. Oh, I think we're gonna have an appearance of the echidna beak. Hi. Hello. Come say hi. Oh, I can see the eyeball. Come say hi. Nope, that's a nope. Door slammed. There we go. Give it a shot. Show us your cute little mug. Try to be quiet. Fight through the pain. Because I want you to see the face of the echidna. Come out, show us. Show us the face. Here comes. Can you see it? Oh, there's this now. Guys, get the shot. Hi. How are you? I'm not doing good. I hope you're doing well, though. All right, guys. That is the beak of the echidna. And it has been very painful to get on camera. You little spike ball. Okay. So you can see the boogery nose there. These animals just recently were discovered to be able to regulate their body heat by blowing snot bubbles on their nose. Oh man. Okay. Just gotta work through the pain a little bit. So an echidna feasts on a diet made up completely of ants and termites. In fact, this animal also has some of the best hearing of any animal in Australia, and it's so sophisticated, they can actually hear the termites and the ants crawling underground, which is why we have to be so quiet. It's so sharp. It is so sharp. And now, compared to the hedgehog, an echidna weighs a lot more. I would say this echidna is in excess of 10 pounds. And just the weight alone, makes it super sharp. And its spines, its spines are so sharp, guys. Okay. Now, if you get a shot of that foot, you'll notice that it's actually backwards. That is a very unusual trait. A lot of times when people are tracking echidnas, they will actually follow them the opposite direction because of the fact that those hind feet are flipped in the opposite direction. These animals have long claws on the back of their feet that are primed for digging, and the echidna has the ability to dig in. And a lot of times when you see these in the environment, they are literally just a ball of spikes. In fact, the only predator that really targets the echidna here in Australia is the feral invasive fox. They'll actually pee on the back of these animals and get them to flip over to expose that soft underbelly. From the top, the echidna is almost bulletproof. From underneath, they're a little teddy bear. And that's why it curls up into a ball, just like this. All right. Look at that face. Ow, you hurt me. You hurt me so. Okay, put him down, Definitely drew some blood. That is like wildlife acupuncture. I do not recommend it. It's time to put our echidna back where we found it. And honestly, I'm not sure who's happier about this, me or the echidna. My hands are on fire right now. Ouch. With the echidna safely back in its tree and my hands throbbing in pain, it's now time to track down one of the rarest animals on the planet, the numbat, one of the last living relatives of the now extinct Tasmanian tiger. Most of the remaining numbats in the world live in Dryandra National Park, but Dryandra is completely surrounded by farmland, trapping the numbats inside. This forest is really the last place we can find them. Spotting one is going to be really challenging because they blend into the landscape perfectly. Luckily, just like the echidna, numbats feed on termites, so we know we're on the right trail. We searched the forest really hard for over 6 hours without a sign of anything. It was a ghost town, but just when I was thinking about giving up for the day, I noticed something furry running through the bushes. Oh my gosh, that's him. Oh my God. There he is. Found one. I got him. I'm filming a numbat. He's looking right at me. I can't believe it. Wow. This is one of the last numbats on the planet. Numbats are a critically endangered species with less than 1,000 left in the wild. Places like Dryandra National Park in Australia are so important in protecting species like this from going extinct. And that's why it's important that this forest remains standing. This has to be one of the rarest animals I've ever filmed. What's he doing now? What's he doing? No. Is he trying to crawl inside? No way. Never gonna fit. Ha! Look at his little legs go. He can barely fit. Is he gonna make it? Oh! And there he goes. The creature that we're looking for tonight is probably one of the most bizarre animals that can be found in Australia, and we have featured some interesting things over the years on Brave Wilderness, but I can promise you, nothing compares to the turtle frog. We needed rain to find this frog, and the rains have come. You are not going to miss this. Finding a turtle frog is almost impossible because you have to be in the small remote desert they live in Western Australia while it's raining. And this only happens a few times a year. Yes! Yes! Next to no footage exists of this species. If we find one, this will be the very first high quality footage ever seen. Oh, stop the car, I see something on the road. First animal of the night. a really cool lizard. Oh my gosh, it's got a huge tick on him though. I'm gonna try to pull this off. Look at that, got a tick.
Oh my gosh.
You see that? That is a big tick. And that is a really cool lizard. Very good sign for our search tonight. We're not exactly looking for shinglebacks, but this one was crossing the road, so we wanted to move him out of the way. You're welcome. All right, let's let you go off the road so you can continue on your way, and we'll continue on ours. This rain has the animals on the move. Like all amphibians, turtle frogs need moisture to survive and to breed. That is why they come up to the surface after it rains. Without this rain, the frogs will remain buried beneath the ground and impossible to find. To make matters worse, turtle frogs only come to the surface at night. We're going to have to look and listen closely to even have a small chance at spotting one. All my life, I've been a frog nerd. And I've been able to track down iconic species like the red-eye tree frogs and poison dart frogs of Central America. And I've also gotten hands-on with all different kinds of toads, from giants, oh, wow, to the most colorful, got it, like this extremely rare harlequin toad. However, the turtle frog has always been my grail animal, and tonight is the first time in my career I'll have a shot at catching one. But if we're going to do that, I'll have to rely on all my years of experience and animal catching tricks to track one down. Perfect habitat for the turtle frog. See that right there? That's sand substrate. Turtle frog, it burrows down up to 3 feet below the surface, so it really needs this sand to be able to do that. Okay, let's keep looking. We're definitely on the trail now. It's really a miracle in itself that we got prime turtle frog conditions tonight. Like seriously, all week long, the forecast called for clear skies and no rain. But tonight, out of nowhere, the rain rolled in, and I have to say, it's making this adventure feel like destiny. Oh, guys, I got something. All right, so what you're looking at there is a spiny tail gecko, named for the spines on the tail, which are actually just modified scales, and they're soft, they're not sharp at all. Now these geckos have a pretty unique defense mechanism where they're able to actually secrete a chemical mixture from their tails. They like whip it at the predators trying to eat them, and it doesn't taste very good. The eyes of the gecko are probably some of the coolest eyes on the planet. They actually don't have eyelids, so they have to lick their eyeballs to keep them moist. Can you imagine that, licking your own eyeball? Sure glad we have eyelids. Love these geckos. Okay, we're gonna let this gecko go back in the bush and keep looking. Well, that's a good sign. We're continuing to see new creatures. Guys, I got one. Look at this frog. Holy cow, that is cool. Wow. We found our first amphibian of the night. It's not the frog we're after, but that is a great sign. That means that we're getting enough rain for the amphibians out here to come out of the soil. This is the western spotted frog, and just like turtle frogs, they only come out just after a rainstorm. This is not the frog we're after, but it's a good start. Let's let this one go and keep searching. Perfect conditions. We just gotta keep looking. Got the rain, we're in the right spot. I've already seen one species of frog. This is like the sweet spot. This is what we need. Got everything except the turtle frog itself. After hours of searching, we weren't seeing any signs of turtle frogs. Luckily, my experience has taught me sometimes the best way to find the frog you're looking for is with your ears. Did you guys hear that? Shh, shh, shh. I think I heard one. Yep. Did you guys hear that? On one more. Let's see if we can hear it one more time. If we hear it again, we'll try to find it. I think that's one, guys. Let's try to canvas this area in front of us here. Stop calling. We must be right next to him. Got him. Got a turtle frog. Holy mother. Oh my God, look, there he is. There it is. I cannot believe we found the frog. Oh my, oh my goodness. Hello, come here, buddy. Oh my gosh. We have come so far to find this species. There is the turtle frog. Yeah, baby! Woo! What are the freaking odds? Guys. Oh my gosh! I cannot believe we got one. Oh. Hello. Have you ever seen anything like that in your life? This is one of the coolest creatures I have ever laid my eyes on. Let's just appreciate this super unique creature. What you're looking at is some of the first HD footage ever recorded of a turtle frog. I mean, this species is so rare, there's very little information to find about them. But here's what we do know about this bizarre little frog. Let's start with the name, turtle frog. Named for its appearance, the most unusual frog I have ever seen, but look at its head. That dome-shaped head with the black beady little eyes, and then the circular body looks like a turtle without a shell. This is one of the most unique looking frogs you will ever see. It looks like something out of Star Wars, Jabba the Hutt's relative. Some people say it looks like a little wad of chewing gum, and it certainly looked like that when we first saw it. I have wanted to film, I have wanted to find one of these frogs for my entire career. This is a big, big moment for me. If you can't sense my excitement after this, this is about as big as it gets for a frog nerd like me. Hi, buddy. Look at that pudge. Are you kidding me? Has to be one of the most unique looking frogs, but probably the cutest frogs as well. Super pudgy, super soft. Feels like a water balloon almost, and when it's walking across my hand, you can really tell how much liquid is in the frog. It's like a deflated water balloon, but it is a very delicate frog, but it's somewhat stout. It's got a lot of power in those legs. I can feel it when it's crawling across my hand. It uses its stocky arms and legs to burrow into the soil. It really is incredible how something so small and soft can dig over 3 feet underground. And actually here, let me get out. I'm gonna take my pack off and get out a little bit of water because I don't wanna dry out the frog. One of the things you always wanna make sure you do when handling any amphibian is make sure you don't dry them out, and this water will help. Oh, hey, came to life there. Hey buddy, it's all right. Oh my goodness. Endemic to Western Australia. It can only be found here, but that's not where the oddities end. In fact, the oddities begin with this species when it's born. It's one of the few species of frogs on the planet that does not have a tadpole stage. This frog begins its life with a full set of hands and legs. What's also unique about this species is that they have one of the largest eggs of all frogs in Australia. In fact, 5 centimeters is as big as they grow, and this frog is approaching maximum length. Now, there's a certain period of year where at the tail end of it that it's breeding and it will actually call. That's how we were able to find this frog. And it was definitely a team effort. We've got Max with us here from Australia Wildlife Encounters. Max and I were slowly honing in on this little frog, and then I crouched down and there it was, just like you saw it right there underneath the bush, looking right back at us with those beady little eyes. And it was so unlikely for us to find this frog, guys. The rains were not supposed to come, and sure enough, they appeared today, almost like out of thin air. A front came in, provided enough moisture for us to have a chance to put this frog in front of the cameras, and I am so excited you guys get to see it. Now, we think this is a male because of the way it was calling, and when they're mating, they have an extended honeymoon. Once a turtle frog locates its mate, they will both burrow together for months before actually breeding and depositing their eggs. This is a very unique species, guys. There's not a ton of information and very few studies of this frog. So when it comes to filming animal oddities, it doesn't really get any better than this. And I am just over the moon right now that we were able to come out here, our first time in Western Australia, our first time in turtle frog territory, against the odds, and sure enough, we were able to find one. Oh man, I am so excited we got to show you guys the turtle frog. What a cool frog this is! Guys, are you kidding me? Tell me in the comments section if you've seen a cooler frog than the turtle frog. I'm about to attempt to film the real-life Godzilla on the shores of an active volcano in the middle of the Galapagos. But to do that, I will need to dive under those crashing waves if I want to get up close to the only lizard on the planet that navigates the ocean, the marine iguana. Hostile forces of nature. The famous words of Darwin describe the Galapagos perfectly, and that's exactly what we're up against. Filming marine iguanas in action means we will need to scuba dive through shark-filled waters, avoid ripping ocean currents, and brave relentless tidal surges that will throw us around like rag dolls. All right, so as we make our way to the intertidal zone, you can begin to see what we're going to contend with. As a scuba diver, if we get caught in these breakers, it could be game over, but it's what it's gonna take if we wanna get up close to those iconic marine iguanas. All right, we have to dive deep quickly to avoid the current. All divers on today's mission are carrying emergency GPS beacons in case one of us gets pulled out to sea. It's critical we remain close together as we make our way toward the iguana feeding grounds. Visibility will change frequently, and there will be many twists and turns to navigate. The water here is very cold, only 68 degrees Fahrenheit. It's also high in nutrients, which attracts more than just iguanas. The Galapagos has one of the most biodiverse marine systems on the planet, making it a critical front line of conservation. But there's no time to waste. We need to save as much air as possible to film the iguanas. The surge will only get stronger the shallower we go. It's almost like the ocean is breathing. Push, calm, pull. Push, calm, pull. This is the most turbulent water I have ever experienced, and it's making it hard to stay submerged. But surfacing now could roll us into the breaking waves, which would be very dangerous and potentially a life-threatening scenario. Only 50 yards from shore, this is where we need to be. And there it is, our first iguana. What you are looking at is one of the most specialized lizards on the planet, and the only one that spends time in the ocean. The marine iguana. If there were ever a living version of Godzilla, this is it. In fact, one of the common names for them on San Cristobal Island is the Godzilla iguana. Check out that scientific name. It turns out Godzilla is now a real animal. Filming these iguanas is going to be a real test. Luckily, the rocks down here are only covered in plants, so unlike coral, it's okay for us to carefully hold on with our gloves. But the surge is intense, making it nearly impossible to hold on when it rips through. Periods of calm will be our only chance to get close to the iguanas. But make no mistake, the surge will return. Luckily, the iguanas seem laser-focused on feeding, almost ignoring our presence. Clearly, every bite counts when you're braving these conditions. Marine iguanas are herbivores that have adapted many specializations to help them survive at sea for the sole purpose of finding food. The rocks here are covered in a leafy marine salad that includes red and green algae, a favorite of the marine iguana, and one of the only reliable food sources for them in the Galapagos. To get it, they have to sometimes dive 60 feet and hold their breath for up to 30 minutes. They use their hooked, talon-like claws to grip onto the rocks, while their shortened snout allows them to get their teeth closer and into tight spaces to chomp away at the algae. So their Godzilla-like appearance does serve a survival purpose. Marine iguanas have also developed flattened tails that are muscular and help them swim through this hazardous environment. And as much as they need their swimming ability to dive into the ocean, it's the getting back to land when it really comes into play. Unlike us, the iguanas are able to swim right into the breakers and body surf their way back to land. Their ability to navigate the bone-crushing waves is unbelievable. But of course, they saved their final and most impressive adaptation for the shore. Because these iguanas feed on plants full of salt water, they have remarkably evolved glands that absorb the salt to be ejected by way of snot rockets, also called wigs. And while it seems gross, it's very efficient and just another unlikely demonstration of how these iguanas have solved the many problems to exist here in the Galapagos. Contrary to their name, marine iguanas spend most of their lives on land. The shores of Fernandina can be stacked with hundreds of basking lizards, and while only adult iguanas dive for food, you can spot subadults and juveniles foraging in the tide pools or just at the water's edge. Large male iguanas are very territorial and can be seen sparring or using head bobs to push off competing males from the rest of the breeding population. Before they branched off to explore the waters of the intertidal zone, marine iguanas started as a land-based species, only driven below the ocean surface due to what must have been an extreme lack of food. In fact, in the Galapagos today, there are 3 distinct species of iguana that are all descendants of a common land ancestor, one of which is the rarest lizard on the planet and the one that brought us to the Galapagos in the first place. The interconnection between land and sea is unmistakable in the Galapagos, and as an ambassador for rewild.org, we are working together with the Galapagos National Park to ensure this marine reserve is expanded and remains protected for generations to come. There is no better example to the importance of these two worlds than the marine iguana, which is unique to the Galapagos and the only lizard on Earth that has adapted for life in the ocean. The fact they have evolved to survive these hostile forces of nature is truly incredible.
Oh, that was such a fun day.
We woke up early because we are trying to find one of the world's smallest marsupials, the honey possum. These tiny creatures only live in Western Australia and are rarely ever seen because they are super quick, hopping and bouncing from tree to tree. Now, while they are smaller than a mouse, they are actually related to koalas, kangaroos, and wombats. And if I'm able to catch one, I'm going to show you why this is one of the most impressive and smallest mammals in the entire world. Now, these creatures are very agile. In order to have any chance of getting one up close to the cameras, we're going to need to use some technology to aid us. So what we have here is a thermal scope. You can see the scanner here, a live feed on the phone, and it will detect any body heat coming off of these small possums. And if we are able to spot one on the scope, we're then gonna race out of the car and try to get hands-on with this super cool and super tiny marsupial. Joining us on our possum search is Max Jackson from Australia Wildlife Encounters. If there's anyone who can spot a creature in the outback, it's him. All right, so we're gonna start our search by looking for plants that flower because these honey possums live on a diet completely made up of flower nectar. So If we find flowers, that's going to be a good indication that there'll be honey possums in the area. This heathland habitat is perfect because typically at all times during the year, there's always going to be something in bloom. It didn't take long for Max to guide us to a location full of orange banksia flowers, a favorite of the honey possum. Unfortunately, by the time we got there, the day's temperatures rose and the thermal cameras became less and less effective, making it difficult to spot the tiny warm-blooded possums apart from the hot banksia trees. So we decided that although we found our location, we would need to return back the next morning for another try.
There.
That's something.
That, it's on a flower too.
That's a possum.
That's a possum. Look at it, that's totally a possum.
We got it. You can see the thermal scope is picking up a small creature at the top of this flower. Hopefully that is the honey possum we were after. This is awesome. All right, let's go. Oh yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see it. Yeah, I see him. I definitely see him, man. He's flying around there.
Alright, do you want me to hold, stand back and you see if you can go for a grab?
Yeah.
I'll keep an eye on it with this laser.
Okay. Coming down at me? Yeah, I don't see anything. Thought I saw a flash of it when we first walked up, but it's hard to tell. It could have just been a branch in the wind.
So I saw him moving down, I kind of lost track of him from there. Oh, hang on, there. There, that's him. He's moving around, he's at the bottom. He's like, there's this head level, he's around there somewhere.
Okay. So he's gonna be at the top of this tree. Oh, I got him. I see him. I think he jumped down. Saw him for like a fleeting glimpse. All right. Well, let's keep trying. Yeah, he's like right there. Oh, I see him. I see him. I got eyes on him. Here, take the phone.
Okay, just drop it, it's fine.
Okay, I am looking at it. I am staring right at it. Oh, I just jumped. Yep. Got him. Where is he now? Oh, I see him. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Oh, I'm so close. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I missed that. Oh. Ah. All right.
These guys move fast.
They are so incredibly quick. Is it the flower again? There's just too many escape routes for these honey possums to go. I can see them, I get within like an arm's reach, and then they see me and go bing, and just jump to the other branch. And these trees are super dense. Like the leaves are very prickly, the branches are very stiff, so like moving the tree around is really complicated. I almost had him. I'm not joking, we may want to go back and get my tide pool net, because they are so fast. We've got one. Oh, I see two. There's one up high. That one looks like it's really resting easily. Let's go for it. All right, I'm gonna go in for a catch. Yep, okay. Here we go. It's gonna be right here.
Yeah, there somewhere. You're right in front of it.
Should be looking right at it.
Hasn't moved yet.
Oh, I see him. He's up. Oh wait. There's a little bird's nest there.
Ah.
But I think it was one of them because I saw a tail.
He's still there.
Oh wait, I'm looking right at him.
Yep.
I see him. Okay. I'm looking right at him.
Oh, he's moving. He's moving. No, he's running overhead. Right?
I heard it. This way?
He's up high, actually. He's on a flower. You should be able to see him. He's there. In the back of that.
Got him.
Yeah.
Got one. Oh, we got a honey possum, guys. That was awesome. That was awesome. Hi. Oh my goodness. You are the cutest thing I have ever seen. Okay, the sun is coming up. Let's let the light expose the habitat a little bit better, and then we are gonna show you this tiny little creature up close and personal. Oh, guys, look at how small this marsupial is. And yes, I know at first glance, it looks a little bit like a mouse, but in fact, this is a marsupial, namely because of how it rears its young. That when they, hey buddy, it's okay, it's okay. It's a little nervous, I'm gonna talk a little quieter. So this little honey possum can give birth to 2 to 3 joeys at a time. And when they are born, they are no bigger than a grain of rice, making them the smallest mammal at birth in the world. And then they will be reared in their mother's pouch for up to 3 months before they venture off to find their own flowers. These little honey possums can drink up to 7 milliliters of nectar in a day. That's the equivalent of a human being drinking 50 liters of soda. Could you imagine? So their metabolism is super fast. They are pretty much always hopped up on a good diet of sugar. Hi, look at that iconic snout, which is developed to help them get at the plant nectar, the flowers in these banksia trees. They are perfectly adapted for their food source. In addition to their slender snout, they also have a very long tongue, which is up to 1/4 length of their entire head. This tongue is covered in, hold on, I gotta get a better grip, sorry guys. We're almost done, we're almost done. We're gonna put you back on your flower, don't worry. Okay, let's see if we can feed our friend here some sugar water. All right, ready? Oh yeah, look at that. Somebody was thirsty. You can see how it uses that little tongue to lap up the nectar. Yum, 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 yum. Oh my gosh, look how long his tongue is. Now their tongue is covered in bristles that helps it extract the nectar out of the flowers. And just like the bees behind us on the flower, these honey possums are extraordinary pollinators. Without them, this environment would certainly be in peril. They are a very important part of the ecosystem here in Western Australia, and they are also super cool. Like many other marsupials, it is prehensile. Do you see how it grips onto my finger there, how it curls up? That prehensile tail can wrap around branches and allows this tiny little marsupial to grip onto flowers and tree limbs with great efficiency, and they can actually hang and support their entire body weight just with their tail. So me gently holding it here is totally fine for this creature. Their base of their tail is very strong and can support their entire body. Now, in addition to its prehensile tail, it also has a very interesting hind foot. Similar to a koala bear, it actually has a thumb that hangs out off the foot, 4 fingers, that allows it to really grab onto stems and limbs so it can get up on those flowers. So another distinguishing feature about the honey possum are those tiny little ears, which are quite large for its head. It has an extraordinary sense of hearing, and that's going to help it stay away from predators that would be out here trying to get them as they're feasting on flowers. Anything from a snake to a bird would make a meal out of a honey possum. They do have striping running along their back. The males have a bit more of a prominent stripe down the back, which leads me to believe that this is a male. Sir, thank you for joining us today on Brave Wilderness. Ow, he's trying to nip me a little bit. Luckily, the honey possum really lacks any serious teeth. It has a couple of flat peg-like teeth, but nothing that's gonna give me a serious nip this morning. You are teeny tiny and super adorable. All right, now these creatures are nocturnal. The sun's starting to come up. I think it's time to put our honey possum back on its flower and let it nap for the rest of the afternoon. You were so good. Thanks for hanging out with us. How about a flower? You want a flower? You hungry? So cool. Oh, coming back? Back to me? Back to me? Oh. You gonna go back? Where are you going? Can I offer you a flower? All right, let's put the honey possum back in the bush. Oh. That's it. That's all she wrote. Honey possum scene. Cut. All right, guys, in this video, I am going to take on the sting of the fireworm so I can officially rate it on the Brave Wilderness Bite Sting Index. Now, the sting from this venomous worm is horrible. We're talking searing pain, massive swelling, and even long-term skin damage. So for me, this is gonna be a really bad day. But before I can go through this test, I first have to catch one. And the only way to do that is to get out in the water. We're diving today just off a public beach near Miami, Florida. And if you can believe it, the waters just off these beaches are swarming with fireworms. Fireworms can grow up to a foot in length and are covered in thousands of venom-laced bristles, which has earned them the reputation of being one of the worst stings in the entire ocean. And unfortunately for me, I'm going to experience this firsthand. That is, if I'm able to find one. I'm seeing something in the rocks just ahead. Oh, check that out. Our first spot of the day, that is a moray eel. Moray eels are incredibly territorial and can be aggressive toward divers, so if I want to keep all my fingers, I better also keep my distance. Now these reefs are a promising environment, but still no fireworm. There is a ton of light down here, however, so I have a feeling it's just a matter of time. I think we need to dive deeper. All right, yes, this is looking perfect. What we're looking at here in front of us is a muck bottom environment, which the fireworms love. And you see that orange sponge? That's a fantastic sign. I've seen fireworms covering these sponges many dives before. Okay, I'm seeing something wormy just up ahead. Oh yeah, there it is, the first fireworm of the day, and a decent sized one too. Whoa, did you see that? The fireworm is flaring out its spines in self-defense, which is gonna make them even more tricky to catch. Even with these gloves on, this is a very dangerous operation that should never be attempted. Please never do this. Taking a sting from a fireworm underwater could easily put you in a life-threatening situation. We have a bit more time left in our tank. Let's see if we can find a few more. Wow, almost immediately we've got another one. Once you find the fireworms, they are nearly everywhere you look. Let's see just how many we can get. Now, for anyone wondering, rest assured, we will be returning all of these fireworms right back where I found them at the end of this video. Wow, that one is an absolute monster. I'm not even sure it's going to fit in this container. Let's try. All right, well, I think we found today's co-star. It's time to take our worms to the surface and for me to face the flame of the fireworm. Since it's important that I return the worms back to the water as quickly as possible, there was no time to waste. So I ditched my scuba gear and got right to setting up for the sting test. The sting table is set. I'm gonna get out a few things that we're gonna be using for today's experiment with the fireworm. I've got a Petri dish we're gonna place them in, some clear Gorilla Tape. You might be asking, Mark, what are you gonna do with that? You'll see in just a few minutes. I've got some white vinegar. Gonna need that for the afterburn. And then of course, this is for me. Just a little hydration out here on the beach. I never leave home without my Summit Adventure Fuel. Now I'm gonna keep the rest of the worms covered. We don't need all the worms we found. Of course, we found a lot of worms. There were hundreds of fireworms at this site. The last one that we found, I even had a hard time fitting it inside the jar that I took with me. So I think that's the one we're gonna use for the experiment, because I am curious, does size matter when it comes to the sting of a fireworm? I think today we'll find out. Let's get some seawater in our Petri dish. Nice, clean, and cold. Now time to get out the fireworm. Whoa. Oh yeah. All right, here's second worm going in. Get some of these spines out of there. Check that out. So as you can see, these worms are absolutely covered in thousands of these very small but very sharp venomous spines. Now these spines are constantly growing. So you'll see there's some of them floating around, and it really does look like fiberglass. When you look at it under a microscope, you could see just how sharp the points of the spines really are. So really just even a subtle brush into one of these creatures is gonna land you in a world of pain, right where I'm about to be here in just a few more minutes. But you can also see that red coloration is where they get their name, the fireworm, because they look like they're on fire and they certainly feel like it when they touch your skin. Now, a lot of people do come into contact with these worms, namely scuba divers and snorkelers, but you do need to be careful if you're out here swimming. If you're walking along and you feel rocks below your feet, there's a good chance that could be the home of a fireworm. If you step on one of these, it's gonna light you up. Wow, and there we go. Come in tight, let's see that right there. That, to me, is the most impressive thing about the fireworm, besides what the venom can do, is this amazing flaring defense. They can just splay and spread out all of those spines so they can encase their entire body. All of that middle bit there, it's no different than your average worm. In fact, when I squeeze it with these tweezers, they're super soft, they're squishy. And if they weren't covered in these amazingly painful spikes, they would be easy pickings for anything that lives out there in the ocean. So now you've heard me mention more than a few times that these worms are venomous. So while yes, those spines will jam into your flesh like a cactus, they release a toxin. There's a mucus that these worms are coating those spines in, much like a lionfish or a stonefish. And when that toxin gets into the skin, it's gonna cause instant searing pain. And that pain will continue to cycle through as long as those spines are lodged in my skin. And then after that, I'm gonna inevitably deal with tremendous swelling and probably some scarring. This is one of the stings that it's gonna leave lasting damage. Luckily for me, I get stung a lot in this area for the bite sting index, so it's just gonna be one of many scars. It's time to take a sting from this very bizarre marine creature so I can officially rate it on the Brave Wilderness Bite Sting Index. And this is one of the animals that I have been really curious to rate since we invented the Bite Sting Index for Brave Wilderness, where we rate the sting or bite of an animal in 3 different factors: intimidation, pain, and aftermath. And for this worm, the aftermath is what you're definitely going to want to stick around for, because not only will you see just how bad the burn from a fireworm can be, but I'm gonna show you what to do if you are ever stung by one of these venomous creatures. I know how bad this is gonna be. Time to find out. What does the burn of the fireworm do to human flesh? On 3, ready? 1, 2, 3. Hold on, I didn't get me good enough. One more time, here we go. Puff up. 1, 2, 3. Ah, yeah, that burns. Ah! No! Oh, it's so. Ah! Woo! Oh, do you see all those spines? Oh my gosh! Ah! Ah! Oh, you can already see it's turning red. Oh, I got stung really bad. That's so many spines. Hundreds. I got stung by hundreds. Ah! Oh, it's so bad. Ah! Ah! Okay. Ah! Ah! Oh gosh.
Mark, are you okay?
Oh, it's bad, dude. It's really bad. Hold on. Ah! Ah! Oh! Ah! 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 Oh my gosh, it's so much worse the first time. I've been stung by these before, but never one that big. I have so many spines in my arm right now. Oh my goodness. Oh, this is gonna be my worst sting ever. This is gonna be my worst sting. Ah! Ah! I gotta let it dry. Because once it dries, I can use this tape to remove the spines. Anything that's like super adhesive. If you don't have duct tape, Find something sticky. Just like get that stuff out of there. You need to get those spines out of your skin because right now I can just feel the venom just like lava flowing over top of itself. It's just as bad as a bullet ant. It's just as bad as a bullet ant. It could be worse. Ha! Don't blow on it. Makes it worse. Oh, come on. Dry. All right, I'm gonna walk it off. Hang on, guys. I'm just gonna walk around for a second. Okay, it's dry. All right, I'm taking all I can take. I gotta get these out. All right, piece of tape like that. Any tape will do, but I got this so you can see just how many spines I'm gonna get out. I'm gonna try to do this in one swoop. Here we go. You wanna cover the entire area. Oh, wow. I didn't get a moment to go again, but look at that. Look at how many spines are in there. Come on. Ow! Ah. Okay, holy mackerel. Look at those welts coming in. You see that? Oh my gosh, and they don't even look that bad compared to how it feels. Instantly better as soon as you remove the spines. It really makes a big difference. The next thing you want to do, white vinegar. It's gonna help neutralize the burns. Oh yeah. Whatever toxin is left on top of my skin, this vinegar is going to neutralize it. Heavy duty tape, white vinegar. If you don't have it with you, get it as fast as you can because the faster you can get those spines out of your skin, the sooner you're gonna be on the road to recovery. But I can tell you the road to recovery for this sting is long. And you can see how much the welts are rising. Tomorrow, this is gonna be nasty. Now comes the hard part, the healing process, the aftermath. And the pain score, gonna be high. Intimidation, I'm gonna have to think about that. Aftermath, I'm gonna have a long time to think about that because the aftermath of this worm is gonna last for weeks. But you don't have to wait weeks. Let's get into it right now and officially rate the Fireworm on the Brave Wilderness Bite Sting Index. On intimidation, the Fireworm looks intense. The bright red skin combined with thousands of spines remind me of a venomous snake. Plus, having taken a sting before, I know just how easily those spines can get stuck in your skin. And when you see a big one underwater, they are majorly intimidating. So for that, I give it a 7.8 out of 10. For pain, once those spines dug in and started to dose me with venom, the burn was intense. The feeling was similar to being burned and electrocuted over and over again. And unlike my first sting, I got completely nailed this time with at least 5 times the amount of bristles. Needless to say, it hurt badly, and for that, I give it a 9.5 out of 10. The aftermath of the Fireworm is where it scores some serious points. Its burn just kept going and going, day after day and week after week, and the rash would come back with a vengeance, leaving behind these intense itching, pustules, and swelling. Anytime I would get active or start to sweat, the pain would come rushing back, and to this day, there is still some scarring left behind from the burn of this Fireworm. So for this, I give the aftermath score a whopping 9.6 out of 10. All combined, the Fireworm ranks at a 9 on the Brave Wilderness BSI, which is a major score for a majorly painful creature. All right, guys, we just got the call. We are on a sea turtle rescue mission, and right now there's a turtle on a beach about 15 miles north from here and needs our help. These sea turtles, when they end up beach, it's because they're distressed and they can no longer swim. And without programs like the one we're participating in, they would all certainly die. So needless to say, this sea turtle right now, its life depends on us. Just this past year alone, more than 850 sea turtles were rescued off the shores of Massachusetts, a number that has been sadly increasing. Endangered sea turtles like the Kemp's Ridley, green, and loggerhead are washing up on beaches due to cold stunting, and the changing climate is only making matters worse. I think I see it. Yep, here's our turtle. A volunteer was combing this beach and they discovered this Kemp's Ridley sea turtle, and this is exactly what they're supposed to do. They're supposed to take the turtles off of the beach, away from the wind, and then you can see it was covered here with this bit of straw to protect it from exposure. And it does look like we are in time for this sea turtle to have a chance, because you can see it still has a little bit of strength in its neck, just enough to pick up its head. And that is a very good sign, because most of the turtles that you find that are cold stunned cannot move whatsoever. So let's bundle this little turtle up and take it to the Wellfleet Sanctuary, where it will start its process of rehabilitation and hopeful re-release back into the wild. Rapidly fluctuating sea temperatures due to climate change are narrowing the window for these turtles to safely migrate south each year. Rising sea temperatures are holding the turtles in northern waters for too long, and any sudden drop in water temperature below 50 degrees results in a mass cold stunning event for these marine reptiles. We have to be super quiet because these turtles are already really stressed, and loud noises have been proven to stress them even further. Oh, poor little turtle. We did notice that it had a bit of a response when we picked it up off the beach. Like it had some ability to raise its head.
So that's pretty rare, honestly. A lot of the time these turtles are barely moving at all. Sometimes we'll think a turtle's dead and we'll leave it overnight to assess in the morning to make sure that it's still alive. Yeah.
Cool. Is this our turtle?
This is our turtle.
All right. How do we know that this turtle isn't dead?
So when we first bring it onto this processing table, we will check to see if its flippers are in rigor.
Rigor is short for rigor mortis. When an animal dies, it starts to seize up and all of its joints and body parts become stiff.
So there was slight movement right there.
Saw that.
Yep, we'll kind of gently tug on their back flippers, and then we'll touch their eye for a small eye response as well. And then what we'll do is we will actually use this pit tag scanner here, because sometimes these turtles wash in and they have been tagged and no tag was detected here. Then the next thing we'll do is we will take measurements of its carapace. We will look to see if there are any injuries on the turtle anywhere, sometimes from pecking from seagulls if they've been sitting on the beach for a while. And then they'll sometimes have some wounds on their carapace.
And that's why it's so important to get these turtles off the beach as quickly as possible. Each animal receives a number upon entry to the Wellfleet Bay Wildlife Sanctuary. And of the 4 sea turtles we assisted in rescuing, number 569 was the first to be sent for urgent care.
On your way, bud.
So we quickly mobilized and followed it to the New England Aquarium's Sea Turtle Hospital. Look at all these turtles. Okay, we'll see you in a little bit. Let's go, guys. All right, here we are at the Sea Turtle Hospital. Let's go inside to see our Kemp's Ridley start its rehabilitation process. Come on this way. All right, how's it going, Adam? Thanks for having us.
Thank you for coming.
So are these our turtles?
These are our turtles, and you got 569, and the Kemps are very similar looking. And as you'll see, there's lots of turtles everywhere. Only once they get into the water, they look even more similar. So we'll bring them up, we'll put a number on their shell, and we put a band around their flipper. So that way when we're looking for certain turtles, especially when they're in the water, they'll be easier to find.
Awesome.
Now we're gonna try to listen to see what the heart rate sounds like.
Cool. And their metabolism at this rate is very slow.
Extremely slow.
And that's why you need these special instruments to be able to read that. We're listening for the turtle's heartbeat. So far, I just hear static. Oh, I think I just heard a whoosh. So this turtle's significantly lower heart rate than it's going to be when it leaves.
Exactly,
Okay.
yeah. So with that, we will give it a dose of epinephrine. That will help get that heart rate a little bit up there, and a little bit more prep for a swim.
So this is like the jump start for the rehabilitation process here at the hospital. Once a sea turtle receives epinephrine, it is then placed in a small pool of water for observation. Also called a swim test, this is where the clinical team will look for signs of other damage and possible infections. Let's see how 569 does.
So that's a great sign, obviously, that nice little breath there. And turtle's going into the water. And so, yeah, I mean, he's ready to go.
That.
For these turtles, freshwater is important because of the dehydration piece. Helps rehydrate them. 1 or 2 days in that freshwater won't be detrimental, and then they're into the full saltwater tanks. These turtles have been out there breathing in cold air, water, so we see a lot of pneumonia. So you can kind of see he's slowing down a little bit there.
Okay.
We also see how high in the water he is, so he's definitely got some gas in his system there that's keeping him very floaty. As you can see, and he has some odd coloration in those front flippers, so he may have some skin issues that over the next few days as he warms up might become a little bit more prevalent.
So I'm not trying to put you on the spot, Adam, but in your professional experience, how would you say our turtle here, number 569, is looking in terms of its potential for rehabilitation?
Yeah, no, the prognosis for this turtle at this point would be good. I saw some bubbles coming out of the ears, the nose. Then you saw him lift his head and took a nice breath. So that's all great things.
Love it. That is so great to hear. And it's so nice to see the turtle lively again. I feel like most people who would encounter one of these cold stun turtles on the beach might even think they were already dead. But sure enough, here at the hospital, after a little shot of epinephrine and a chance to swim, we've got a lot of movement. All right, so now that our turtle has swam for the first time at the hospital, part of the rehabilitation process of warming them back up to the appropriate temperature, which is about 72 degrees, takes a few days. After treating nearly 5,000 turtles, this facility has learned quite a bit about how to bring the temperature back up in the appropriate way, and the best way they found to do it is a staged process over days using multiple tanks. Over the next 2 days, they will actually be placed in the saltwater baths that will raise them up to about 65 degrees and then eventually up to the 72 degrees that you'll see here in the holding tanks. These turtles here, they're already being raised up to temperature. Pretty cool, and definitely something that really helps these turtles stand a chance of being re-released. Along with being critically endangered, the Kemp's Ridley is also the rarest sea turtle on the planet. Once abundant, their population suffered a massive crash in the 1980s, where as few as 250 nesting females were estimated to remain. Luckily for the world's smallest and rarest sea turtle, large-scale conservation efforts helped restore their population to stability by the mid-2000s. However, with current climate trends being as they are, the pressure is now back on to save this species from extinction. I've heard reports that the Kemp's Ridley are somewhere in the population of 30 to 40,000 individuals in the world. Is that what you've heard also?
They are a critically endangered population.
So, I mean, the fact that you're seeing thousands of turtles come to the facility, this is a significant mass of this species.
Getting these guys through and back into the ocean is critical.
Well, this is not the end of the road for the video, guys. We actually have one more step that we want to show you as part of this turtle rehabilitation program. This one, though, is going to take us on a short trip to the airport. So as you can see, we are no longer in the Sea Turtle Hospital. We are in an air hangar because there's an amazing volunteer program called Turtles Fly 2 that takes these sea turtles down to warmer waters in the southern United States, where they will finish their rehabilitation and be released back into the wild much sooner than Mother Nature would allow here in New England. And we just got word that the turtles will arrive, so it's time to get to work and load up these sea turtles. All right, so you have a van load and a truckload full of sea turtles that are being loaded up by volunteers and aquarium staff onto this aircraft right now. They're trying to set a record today by loading 100 sea turtles onto this airplane. That's a lot of reptiles. So right now the pilot and the co-pilot are up there playing a little bit of turtle Tetris to try to get all of these animals loaded up onto this aircraft. It takes a lot of resources to fly these turtles, so they want to make sure every flight is efficient and as productive as they can. Trying to get one more up there.
Yeah, I think they have a little shorter banana box.
Okay. Nice. Oh, there's more turtles. There's always more turtles. Last one. Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, thank you.
All right, got the final turtle box to load into the aircraft. Last one. Something I never thought I would say. Turtles on an airplane. But here in New England, it happens about a dozen times a year. That's cool. The turtles that make the flight to Florida are the ones ready to be released back into the wild. But others needing more long-term rehabilitation, like our friend 569, will continue to receive care at the Sea Turtle Hospital until they are ready to be released when spring returns to New England. Researchers have predicted that by 2031, just 8 years from this video's release, thousands of cold-stunned sea turtles will wash up on New England shores every single year. It takes an amazing collaboration to combat these events and return healthy sea turtles into the ocean to rejoin their populations. From emergency veterinarians to airplane pilots to hundreds of beachcombing volunteers, I was so proud to play a small part in saving these rare and endangered animals. But the work continues every single day from the cold shores of Cape Cod to the warm waters of South Florida. And these wildlife heroes need our support. Please join Brave Wilderness in the New England Aquarium by clicking the link in the description to donate, spread awareness, Or perhaps volunteer yourself in the effort to save these beloved treasures of our oceans. Few places on our planet are as alive as the country of Ecuador. From its towering cloud forests, down to the Amazon basin, and all the way out to the islands of the Galapagos, this country stands as a pillar of hope for the entire natural world. And as part of the Non-Fungible Planet campaign to celebrate Earth Day, YouTube is sponsoring this video for an expedition into this pristine environment where we will get up close with some of its most magnificent and unusual wildlife. Joining us on this adventure will be Dr. Lina Valencia, a renowned conservation scientist and wildlife expert. Lina has spent years conducting field research throughout Latin America on many animal species, ranging from primates all the way down to amphibians. Lina knows this environment well, and with any luck, together, we will uncover brand new species never before seen on video. After crossing the ridges of the Andes and navigating down the slopes of the Amazon, we set out on foot to venture deep into the heart of the rainforest. Right away, I was struck by the immense beauty and diversity of this place. But right about the same time, we were also struck with the challenges in front of us. We trekked miles through the jungle, crossing rivers and braving rainstorms and mud to get to the edge of the primary forest. Here we waited for darkness, because while some creatures do make themselves present by day, the best and most interesting only roam under the cover of night. During the day, there are diurnal animals. That means daytime wildlife, but the best time to find all the cool creatures that call this rainforest home is at night.
Well, you cannot come to the Amazon and not go night herping.
Night herping, what is night herping?
So we're gonna turn our headlamps on and then we're gonna start walking through the forest to discover all the cool creatures that we're gonna see tonight. Frogs, snakes, really cool insects.
Awesome. Well, I know I'm excited. This is our first trip to Ecuador for Brave Wilderness. You've been here a few times, so
yeah.
I'm gonna let you lead the way. Let's turn our flashlights on and head off into the rainforest. What the? Guys! Holy cow! Look at the size of that katydid. That's the biggest one I have ever seen, Lena. It is strong. It is like taking all my finger strength just to hold on to it. Look at those legs kick away. Now, I would attempt to let it rest on my hand if it weren't for those massive mandibles in the front. It will absolutely slice your skin open like a razor-sharp knife. Make no mistake about it, these katydids are fierce. And if you've seen all the leaves around here that have holes in them, see all these holes? That's due to these creatures just munching away, eating the plant leaves, hole by hole, leaf by leaf. Wow. With over 6,400 species, katydid come in a variety of shapes and sizes. And while they are called the longhorn grasshopper, they are actually more closely related to crickets, including this giant leaf katydid. And you can see the camouflage. Here, let's hold it up to a leaf right here. Look at how well it blends in with the leaves here. Absolutely superior camouflage. I mean, Lena, that's a leaf.
It's like it has even the veins that a leaf will normally have.
Yeah. Oh, so it is so incredibly strong for an insect. Look at it, it's just ripping holes in the leaf as we're trying to take it off. Look at the abdomen pulsate underneath there. And this can fly. You want to hold it, Lena?
No, that's fine.
Okay, well, let's get a couple more shots and then we're gonna put this monstrous katydid right back on the leaf which I found it. Wow. As exciting as it is to explore these environments, there are many potential hazards, like venomous snakes lurking on the ground and spiny plants all the way up to the canopy. So proceeding with extreme caution is a must. All right, let's get the cameras in close. You see this? Lena just spotted this stick insect, and it is super spiky. Here you go, Lena. Oh man, that is so cool.
Can you see all the spikes?
Oh yeah. It's almost like a stick insect version of the thorny devil that we saw in Australia. Besides its incredible appearance, I'm already amazed by its 3 unique defense mechanisms. The first one's pretty obvious, stick insect, master of camouflage. Defense mechanism number 2. Lena, why don't you tell us how spiky this stick insect is?
Pretty spiky over here.
That's right. I'm gonna try it. Ah! Yeah. If you were to try to forcefully grab it, you would get a handful of spines and it would not feel good. Let's move on to the 3rd defense mechanism. Look at how much that rear abdomen looks like the head of a snake, almost like a dragon.
Look how it curls.
Almost like a scorpion. That is a false head and is another defense mechanism, so a would-be predator would actually go after the wrong side of the insect, giving it one last chance of escape. More than 3,000 species of stick insect inhabit our planet, and to add a 4th defense to its arsenal, this spiny stick insect actually has the ability to produce a noxious odor that is impossible to ignore.
You guys can't smell it, but
Yeah.
there's a very strong smell.
Yeah, it smells almost like bug spray. I think that's the best way I could describe it. A very unique smell, not a smell I've ever encountered before. Wow, you never know what you're gonna see when you come out night herping in Ecuador, but I certainly never in my wildest dreams expected a creature like this. All right, Lena, great spot. Why don't you do the honors and put this one back on its leaf? Oh man, that's so cool.
Put it back. Oh, look, there's a monkey tree frog here.
Oh yeah.
Can you
Wow.
see it? It blends so well with the leaf. Yeah, they're called monkey tree frog because right now they're not moving, but when they move, they look like a monkey moving
Okay.
through the forest.
Are they nocturnal?
Yeah, they're nocturnal, and right now you think it's sleeping, but it's not. It's actually because it senses our presence, so they get still, and they're like that defensive mechanism. And if I was to grab it, like they would like curl into and play dead, and that's how they defend from predators.
Wow. Yeah, you can actually see, even since we walked up here, it's gotten a lot darker.
Mm-hmm.
So is there any way to show everyone what this defense
Yeah.
mechanism? Yeah, because I've heard about, I've actually never seen one of these.
So can you see how it's crawling? That's like a defense mechanism when it's disturbed.
Wow.
Do you see? When it was in the tree, it was like not as cold as it is right now.
So it's plain possum.
It's playing dead.
Yeah.
And actually, some of these frogs, when you touch them, they change color and release some toxins
Oh, really?
as well. That if they're like, they won't be poisonous in my hand, but if like I put it on my eye, I will be struggling.
After we placed the frog back on its leaf, we spotted another one on a nearby branch. So here's a much livelier perspective. Nice little leaf frog. Nice job, Lena. Good spot. All right, let's keep moving. Among the maze of vines and other vegetation, we search slowly and carefully because many things in this jungle are not as obvious as they might appear. Whoa, what is this? Is that a toad?
Yeah, that's actually a leaf toad. Can you tell why?
Oh yeah, oh my goodness. See if I can pick it up right on its leaf.
Look how it camouflages so well with the leaf.
Yeah, you can definitely make out the parotoid glands and see the bumps all over the surface of the skin. Definitely a toad. I'm speechless. This is an unbelievable find. Have you seen one of these before, Lena?
I've seen leaf toads before, but not particularly this one.
I'm in awe.
Look at how beautiful the eye is.
While many species of amphibians utilize superior camouflage here in Ecuador, some of them are actually very toxic and display brilliant colorations, as is seen in poison dart frogs and the world's rarest and most colorful jewel of the rainforest, the harlequin toad. Hi. Thanks for hanging out with us. And you know, I noticed that a lot of species out here in Latin America, they're not really flighty. They do rely on their defense mechanisms. For better or for worse, that's what they're going with.
Yep. Not afraid of you because he will attack.
So there you have it. That is one super camouflaged but cool amphibian. And Lena, I think this is a great way to call it a wrap here of our exploration of Ecuador. Thank you so much for having
You're
us.
most welcome.
You've shown us so many cool animals. I hope everybody at home has appreciated this look into this beautiful ecosystem. I'm Mark Vins.
I'm Lena Valencia.
Be brave.
Be wild.
We'll see ya on the next adventure. All right, ready to go back out? See you later.
We'd like to extend a special thank you to Dr. Lena Valencia and NGOs like Rewild.org, who make the conservation and sustainability of places like this their primary mission. And thank you again to YouTube for making this adventure possible and sponsoring this exciting exploration to celebrate the beauty and wonder of our planet. In the rainforest of Costa Rica lives a ghost. One that we have been chasing for many years. Yet, it has eluded us time and again. But tonight, that's all about to change.
Hear that? Oh, guys.
Oh my God.
Hey everybody, I'm Mark Vins and welcome back to another special adventure brought to you by B&H Photo. Tonight, we are going out in the jungle looking for a ghost. No, not a paranormal ghost, a living ghost, one that we will actually find if we can locate its habitat. This animal loves moving water, so in order to find out where we need to hike tonight, we need to use the light of day and our drone to see where the stream systems exist on this property. First things first, before we can fly the drone, we've got to set it up. And today we are flying the DJI Mavic 2 Pro. This is a really awesome drone, but for us today, it's more of a reconnaissance tool so we can see the area that we're going to be adventuring in tonight. And liftoff. All right, we are up in the sky. Oh man. You know what? There's like all kinds of clouds coming in right now. This actually looks gorgeous. Check that out. So glass frogs, an arboreal frog that lives up off the ground, love river systems because that's where they lay their eggs and develop their tadpoles. Now, if we can locate water, there's a pretty good chance that we could put ourselves there and listen for the calls of the glass frog and then locate the ghost glass frog. Okay, I'm gonna fly due east and we wanna mark the ridges and the approximate distance to get to these streams and rivers and hopefully get eyes on one of the streams that's closest to us as a starting point. And we want to maybe sketch the shape and some distinct features to help us get there.
Okay.
So you see the ridge right in front of us, we'll call that ridge 1. And there's definitely a secondary ridge over top of it.
Okay.
And this is the great part about scouting with the drone. You really can see the topography in an area like Costa Rica, which is very mountainous and hilly and just confusing at night. I mean, right, Mario, you can easily get turned around out there in the jungle, but by having a map at our aid, it's going to make tonight's expedition that much more efficient. This vegetation is dense. Even from the sky, it is difficult to see anything in those trees. That's water. Got it. So you see the way that curves around? So over Ridge 1, and then on the downside of Ridge 2, the stream comes from the south and goes just north and then bends back west.
Yep.
And then you see that cluster of rocks?
Yep. I think that could be our kind of landmark, maybe our entryway.
Based on the fact that that was over 2,500 meters of flight, we're gonna estimate to get down here because of the terrain up and down, that's gonna be about another 2 kilometers.
Okay.
3 kilometers total in hiking tonight. And then you have a compass on your watch, which will really come in handy.
Yep. So we've got the map. We know where the stream is at. All we got to do is wait until it gets dark. And of course, bring that drone back.
I hear it. There it is, yeah. So we did a manned launch and right now we're going to do a catch landing. This is not for a novice drone pilot. Gotcha. All right. Well, that's a wrap on recon. Let's head back and wait for darkness. As you can see, night has descended upon us, and it's time to search the rainforest for the ghost glass frog. Let's turn our headlamps on and hit the trail. I'm scanning around, I'm listening. I do hear something coming from over here. I think I hear a call. Hear that? It's coming from right up here. Let's check this out. Oh, yep, right there. Look at that. Our first glass frog, cool. Now, first things first, I'm just gonna leave it alone for a second so I get my hands wet. I don't wanna handle a frog with dry hands. Let me see if I can get this frog off its perch. Come here, little guy. Perfect. There we go. Okay. This is not the Elix or the ghost glass frog, but it's actually one of the smallest species of glass frog here in Costa Rica, and it's the Spinosa glass frog, otherwise known as the dwarf glass frog. One of the first distinct characteristics you will notice about the glass frog is, besides being that really cool translucent green, is their eyes are actually set forward as opposed to the side like we'd see in a red-eye leaf frog or some of the other frogs that we have here in Costa Rica. And that forward set eye pattern is what gives them that really cool Kermit the Frog look that they're so famous for. I think we've had it off its leaf for long enough. Let's put it back and keep searching. We've got a long night ahead of us if we're gonna find that ghost. We've gone about 1 kilometer east so far, and we know our final destination, or the water source that we're looking for, is about 3 kilometers east. Looks like we need to go a little northeast. Mario, you seeing that?
Yep, according to my compass on my watch, yeah, if we go in this direction, it'll be kind of slightly northeast, and then I think we'll get on that eastern trail as well.
It's funny, when you first step foot off trail, there's always this sensation that comes over you. It's just like a heightened awareness. Walking on the trail feels safe. Walking off the trail feels hazardous just by nature. So you tend to move a little bit more deliberately, and you see more. It's really an awesome thing to get off trail. You've got a little bit of groundwater starting here. That means the bigger stream is definitely nearby. Let's head on here and get to the start of the stream.
Dude, fertilance.
Where?
Huge.
Let me see.
Holy smokes. Look at his head.
Whoa.
Oh my God.
Whew. That is a formidable snake right there. Good spot, Mario. You want the snake hook?
No, I don't think we're gonna mess with it. Just gonna get a nice shot of it. So the fertilance relies on its cryptic coloration to blend into the environment. And an animal in this position could stay in wait for hours without moving a single muscle. The name of the game is waiting when you are an ambush predator. And a snake like this has all the time in the world to wait for an unsuspecting prey item.
That is exactly why you have to watch every single step you take out here, because your next step could be on something like that fer-de-lance, and that'd be a very bad day for us. It looks like it's flattening out a little bit, which is good news for us. We can really start looking. I just heard a glass frog, guys, up this way. It's a very quick chirp. It's like a, hear that? Oh, guys, we got one. Yes! Oh man, I knew I heard one. All right, here we go. Hands wet, gonna gently take it off the leaf. I am so excited to show you this frog, and you're going to see why we came all this way to show you the ghost of the rainforest, the ghost glass frog. How cool are those eyes? So cryptic and so unique. In my opinion, this frog has the coolest eyes in all of frogs in Central and South America. We're gonna break out the lights, we're gonna break out the macro lens, and we're gonna bring you in close so you can get a good look at why this frog is so special. Mario, you got that macro lens ready to go?
Yep, got the lens and the EOS R on the tripod.
And I've got the ghost glass frog. Oh, looking right at you. I think it sees its reflection in your lens there and is like, who's that? That looks like me.
Hey, buddy.
Let me help you there, Mario.
Okay, back it up just a little bit, right there.
Trying to remain as still as I possibly can for Mario's shot right now so everyone at home can see those magnificent eyes. They look cool?
Yeah, they're kind of reticulated. They got this pattern on them. I'm gonna pause there. Let's try to get a different angle on him.
Okay. Just carefully nudge it this
How's
way.
it doing? Is it doing good?
Oh my goodness.
That's good.
That's cool
let's get
right
that.
there.
Let's get its little pads.
Yeah.
So this species does not have a completely transparent ventrum. However, I could see a little bit of the white sheath of intestinal tract inside of its stomach. And I could actually see like the beating of the heart.
I'm glad you brought that up, Mario, because a lot of people think that all glass frogs have a completely transparent stomach, and that is not true. In fact, it is more of the exception than the rule when that does occur. Now, if you have seen our previous glass frog episode, that was a species with a completely clear ventral side where you could actually see the heart beating and the blood flowing through the frog, which was pretty amazing. Another cool thing about the ghost glass frog, it is actually the largest species of glass frog in Costa Rica. So kind of fitting that we started tonight with the dwarf glass frog, or the Spinosa, which is the smallest, and we land on the ghost glass frog, which is the biggest, but still pretty small. It's winking at you. I think he just complimented you, Mario. It's like, wink, that's a great shot. Well, I hope you see now why it was worth the effort to come all the way down here to find the ghost of the rainforest, the ghost glass frog. And I do want to give a special thank you to our friends at B&H Photo for sponsoring this episode and putting together a number of amazing deal packages for everybody at home. So if you go to www.bhphoto.com/brave right now, you can take advantage of those exclusive offers. Oh, and don't forget, if you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to hit that subscribe button and the notification bell so you don't miss another adventure with me and the crew. I'm Mark Vins. Be brave. Stay wild. We'll see you next time. All right, let's put this guy back on his leaf and head home.